Alright, this is Sage Wanderer. It's 5:25 a.m. on the West Coast. So, another Sunday night with a suspicious and odd occurrence. We had the Sunday night, obviously the big one everyone's talking about in Las Vegas with the shooting. We had last Sunday night when the entire half of California erupted into flames all at the same time. All 17 fires in 15 counties going up all at once. Very suspicious. I sat up last night watching the news closely to see if anything was going to happen this Sunday night. And sure enough, we got a weird occurrence. There was a oil rig explosion on Lake Pontchartrain. Now, here's some of the unusual circumstances surrounding this seemingly, small event near New Orleans. First of all, I would like to direct you to a YouTuber named Charles Walton. Charles Walton lives in Kenner, and that is the closest town to the oil rig explosion. He is more of a genuine news broadcaster on YouTube. I think he's got 38,000 subscribers, so he's quite a bit bigger than my little fresh upstart operation. Now, when I saw the coverage last night before I went to bed on the regular news channels, what I was seeing seemed a bit odd to me, and the main thing that seemed odd to me was the press conference and the way that the uniformed police chief of Kenner was behaving. He was acting almost exactly like the Las Vegas sheriff during this press conference. The expressions were a combination of fear, nervousness, and he seemed to have information that he did not want to let go with. He didn't want this information to get out. And I don't know. To me, it was a combination of he knew something we didn't know, and he crapped his pants. I hate to be crude, but yeah, he really seemed uptight. It was very much the behavior of this Las Vegas sheriff, who seemed to be controlled, seemed to be having someone, standing around the corner, or even in the case of the sheriff's office, right behind him, making sure he didn't slip up and give the wrong information. So I was curious about that last night when I went to bed. When I woke up this morning, I saw Charles Walton's broadcast on this, and he was actually out there. He chased it out there when it went down because it was so close to his home. And the thing that he's reporting that I'm not seeing anyplace else was the ridiculously enormous police response to this oil rig explosion on Lake Pontchartrain. He described it as, it seemed to him like it was all of the police from all of the surrounding jurisdictions. The Coast Guard was there. There were helicopters. It was an enormous response. It seemed way bigger of a police response. I mean, typically that kind of thing is a fire and rescue kind of thing. But there were tactical officers and police officers there from every jurisdiction, all in the whole surrounding area. Then when he called himself the chief executive officer of the county, was the guy actually speaking. The uniformed officer is dressed in white. If you see the video, he's standing to the left of the guy who's actually speaking. And the guy that's speaking says something that I find really, really odd. It's just a little slip up. If we were playing poker, I would double down with this, I would go all in against this, because this guy really seemed like this was a slip. Like this was something he shouldn't have said, and had no reason to say. They asked him about the victims, the explosion. He said that there were 7 employees on the oil rig when it exploded. 6 have been rescued, and The seventh is at large, still at large. Okay, if this were a search and rescue operation and there was nothing to this little conspiracy theory I'm throwing out about this explosion, then a guy like that would have said there were 7 victims of the explosion, 6 have been rescued, and 1 person is missing. Not still at large. That was a really odd thing to say for like a county manager. Maybe it was a mistake. Everything about that felt weird to me when I watched it last night, and Charles Walton is absolutely beside himself. He's convinced there's something much bigger going on there. They're covering something up, and he's comparing the behavior and the cover-up by the local law enforcement to what's going on in Las Vegas. So is this the 3rd Sunday night of terror in a row in our country? Are they covering up what really happened in Las Vegas, what really happened with the fires in California, and what really happened with the oil rig explosion on Lake Pontchartrain? This is for you to decide. I gotta tell you, it all looks fishy, and it looks like a coordinated effort. 3 Sunday nights in a row. Will I be proven right again next Sunday when some mysterious event happens where they don't offer us any reason why? They don't offer us any explanation as to what happened or the motive or, what caused the fires in California, what caused the explosion? Are we going to continue to see this parade of law enforcement officers who seem to be forced to give these statements they're uncomfortable with? Charles Walton knows this chief of police. He's had lots of interaction with him in the past, and he said this is just weird behavior. And according to Charles Walton, this officer kept giving him the eye. He kept trying, like he was trying to tell him something without saying it. This police officer looked like he was there under duress. So my theory of Sunday night terror being programmed and being released every Sunday night leading up to November 4th seems to be holding up. We'll see what they tell us or what they don't tell us about this oil rig explosion. But I want you, my viewers, to know I am watching this and I am paying attention. And I'm going to keep exposing these things that I think are odd, that are occurring every Sunday night like clockwork.